In today's video, I'm gonna go over 3 things that you should know before you create an online course. By the way, don't forget to subscribe as I release new videos each and every week. Hey everybody, Dan Henry here, and I am the author of the Wall Street Journal best-selling book, Digital Millionaire Secrets: How I Built an 8-Figure Business Selling My Knowledge Online. And today I'd like to talk about 3 things that you should know before you sell an online course. And I see a lot of people who have made a little bit of money selling online courses, or even people who have made 6 or even 7 figures with online courses, talking about things that you should do and things that you should know, but I don't really hear these 3 things mentioned hardly ever, except maybe one. But the thing is that we've done 8 figures with online courses, and there's a big difference between 8 figures and 6 figures. And I wish that I knew these 3 things way before, a way long time ago, because if I would have known these things, I think I could have ascended to 8 figures a lot, way faster. And so that's what I'm going to cover in this video. So the first thing is the biggest, most important thing is never, ever create your online course first. Now, you may have heard this advice before, but I'm going to actually expand on it and really expand on why. And then the next 2 things, I doubt you've heard, unless you've heard them from me. But let's dive into this one: why you shouldn't create your online course first. Here's the thing. You may be good at what you do. You may be fantastic at what you do, but that does not mean you're good at teaching it. And the only way to get good at teaching it is to teach it and get feedback. So what I do when I create an online course is I like to pre-sell it. And by the way, if nobody buys the pre-sale, then I know that fundamentally that course subject is not good for the market. And if nobody buys, well, then I don't have to make it. I don't have to spend time creating it. And that's one big mistake I made in the beginning years ago. I spent months and about $10,000 in expenses creating an online course that nobody wanted. And then for years, I didn't try to create an online course again because I was so jaded. And so, I can't stress enough why creating it first is a terrible idea. Because what if nobody buys it? What if it sucks? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what I like to do is pre-sell it, and then I teach it live the very first time. I just sort of bullet point it out. I teach it live, generally on a whiteboard or on some very basic slides. And then at the end of each lesson, I say, hey, did you guys understand that? Did you guys get that? And if everybody that's on the live training says, yes, that's fantastic, Dan, we like it, I mark it down as good, and I move to the next one. If they say, no, Dan, I didn't quite understand that, I will reframe how I explained it. I'll use different analogies, different examples, and then I'll say, how's that? Oh, that's great. I'll mark it down, and when I go to editing, I'll simply have a video editor edit out the bad explanation and leave in the good. And boom, that's it. In fact, my very first course that was successful did $8 million in sales over the course of a couple years, and that for probably, I'd say, about 9 months of its first product run was simply a recording and edited up version of an 8-hour session I did to a pre-sale group. And then I re-recorded it, added some things, made it better. And so the reason I'm telling you this is because if you teach it live the first time, you'll get immediate feedback. You can take those recordings, chop them up, put them in a membership area, and then you can go back and begin refining it, taking the feedback you're getting in the group, taking the feedback you got from that initial beta version of the program, and re-record it and slowly drip it out while the existing students and new students still have access to that original recording. And so the way you make a great online course is to refine it, not to make it, not to create it, but to evolve it. And so you have to start with something. And I like to start with a live training, get feedback, and make it better from there. So that's the first not only the reason, but sort of a dive into why you shouldn't create it first. Plus, nobody wants to create something that nobody wants. And if you can't sell it, you can't teach it. The second thing is to pitch from a whiteboard. Now, this right here, this whiteboard has made me millions of dollars, and I'm going to tell you why. Most of the time when somebody wants to sell an online course, they fall into this trap because all the 6- and 7-figure gurus are telling them to do this. They say, oh, create a 3-video series and make a webinar with all these slides and build this funnel and blah, 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 blah. Because I have clients, one in particular, Shayna, who is doing roughly $30,000 to $40,000 a month right now, and she has no webinar, no funnel, she doesn't use live broadcast software. She just uses a whiteboard. That's it. She uses a whiteboard, and she takes her phone, and she goes like this, and that's it. It takes them to book a call, and then sells them on the phone. Or I've got other students that take them right to an order page. Now, why is this? Well, here's the thing. I believe that selling is similar to training for boxing, training for MMA, et cetera, et cetera. And one thing that you'll find that boxers and MMA athletes do is they'll do overtraining, right? They'll wear a mask that restricts oxygen so that it's harder for them to breathe when they're training. And then when they get in the ring, they have full oxygen, they feel better. Or they will wear ankle weights when they're training so that they feel heavier. But then when they get in the ring, they feel lighter and they feel good. And this is, to me, a fantastic way to learn how to sell. Because you see, if you buy a fancy funnel software and you buy a fancy webinar software and you put all the bells and whistles in and all the accoutrements and all this fancy automation and all these fancy slides and these fancy graphics, but at the end of the day, your core message isn't landing, none of that is going to help you. None of that is going to work. I mean, that's like putting a new paint job on a car that doesn't run. You got to fix the engine first if you want the car to go. New seats, new leather, and new paint is not going to make that car go. And so what I teach my people is take a marker, take a whiteboard, and restrict yourself. No testimonials, no fancy slides, no, pop-up freaking whatever. Just take a marker and a whiteboard. Take a phone, go live to your group, to your audience on your Facebook profile, and start mapping out and tell a story. Pitch from the whiteboard, right? Hey guys, this is what I've done. Here's how I discovered it. Here's some secrets, do some training, and pitch from the whiteboard. Restrict yourself to nothing else. And here's why you want to do that. If you can sell even mediocre sales, right? Even just a few sales from a whiteboard, that means that your offer and your message is good. And that is the engine, right? That is the engine. So if you need fancy webinar software and funnels to sell your digital product, that means that when you try to scale it, it's going to fall apart because you absolutely need to make sure the engine is running well before you start slapping new leather, new paint, and all that on it. And so if you can sell from the whiteboard, you absolutely have a good message and a good offer. Now when you add in the funnels and the software, it's going to really sing. But if you can't sell it from a whiteboard, you have absolutely no business using funnels, using webinar software, or any of that jazz. And I live by that. My students and my clients live by that, and that's why they make a lot of money. And that's another reason why I've been able to scale to 8 figures is because I realize things and I've learned things past just, buy this software. It's not about the software. It's about your message and your offer and what you can do with nothing more than a whiteboard and a marker. Okay, and the third thing is about pricing. Understand that most people talk about pricing. Again, I see it, the 6 and even 7-figure course creators, they say, well, you can increase your prices by adding, more cheat sheets and adding more modules, and it's all about the bonuses and blah, 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 blah. No, it's not. No, it's not. Absolutely not. It's such amateur advice. Look, the price has absolutely nothing to do with what is in the program, how much of it is in it, how many cheat sheets, how many modules, has nothing to do with it. You just think it does. The truth is, it has to do with the end result, period. The end result. It's not about more, it's about faster. People don't want more. They want to get their goal faster. They want to get to their goal faster. They don't want to sit through hours and hours of content. Let me give you an example. My program, I explain things in about 10 minutes, whereas other people in other programs explain those things in 2 hours. They take 2 hours to explain the same thing that I can explain in 10 minutes. And then one of the biggest compliments I get on my program is that they say, Dan, I learned this thing in 10 minutes and I was able to get started on it, whereas every other program I've bought takes 2.5 hour videos to explain this thing, and you just explained it to me in 10 minutes, and I get it more than the guy that took 2 hours. And so, again, realize that your pricing is dependent on the result you can get them. I'll give you a perfect example. I have paid $25,000 for a single 1 hour consultation. $25,000 for an hour. Now you say, Dan, well, what did you get with that? Did you get cheat sheets and a book to go with it and an accountability map? No, I didn't get anything. I got to talk to the guy for an hour, period. Why did I pay $25,000 for an hour? Well, it's because this person that I paid is an extremely smart and qualified and has a track record of investing, and specifically in stocks. Now, because my information business has generated so much profit and so much money, I wanted to learn more about how to take that money and use that money to make more money in the stock market. And so I found the best, and I paid them what they were worth, which is $25,000 an hour, and I literally in 1 week made that back. Now, why did I pay $25,000 an hour? Was it because of what the deliverables? No, it's because of the end result. He taught me how to take my money and make more money. And to me, that was totally worth $25,000 for an hour. And so if you think about it, it had nothing to do with what was in that offer. It had to do with what that offer would do for me. If I said to you, I'm going to give you a magic box, and in this magic box, if you put $1 and you close the box and you open the box, you'll get $2 out. It's a single box, and I'm going to charge you, I could charge anything for that. I could charge $50,000, $100,000, I could charge $1 million, because at the end of the day, that box will allow me to turn, $1 into 2, 2 into 4, etc. And so if you think about it, would you pay $50,000 for a little box that if you put $1 in and close it and you got $1 or you got $2 out? Of course you would, because you would just sit there all day and open the box until you got your money back, and then you'd probably sit there for more, open the box, and make more money. But those magic boxes don't exist, and that's why we have education. So when you're thinking about your pricing, don't think about what is in the program, what they get, or if you're thinking about how to increase the value, don't think about, add more cheat sheets. Think about what are they getting as a result, and what is that worth to them? And then simply 10x it. So if you think this is worth at least $10,000 to them, reasonably, then you can charge $1,000. If you believe it's worth $100,000 to them, then you can charge $10,000. So as long as you feel that most people, if they do the work, will get this result, then that is a 10x formula. So if you think most people, if they get the result, will make about $100,000, charge $10,000. If you think most people will make $10,000, charge $1,000. If it's not about making money and it's more about like weight loss, personal development, think about what would it be worth if somebody's life was changed, if somebody saved their marriage, if somebody lost all that weight. I believe that if I was overweight and I could lose weight and get to my goal weight in 6 months, that's at least worth $10,000. So $1,000 for that is totally reasonable. But again, it had nothing to do with the cheat sheets or the deliverables. It has to do with you being able to get them that result. That's the biggest thing. All right, so if you enjoyed this video and you want to learn more about how to craft an offer and sell online courses, coaching, consulting, masterminds, grab a copy of my book, Digital Millionaire Secrets. I'll give you the book for free. Just pay shipping. I'll leave a link below in the description where you can grab this book for free. Again, just pay shipping. Also, if you have read the book and you'd like to learn more about how my company and my team can help you and we can work together to build your educational offer, then you can book a call to speak with us and we'll see if it's a fit. I'll leave a link for that below as well. Don't forget to subscribe because I release these videos each and every week. I'll see you in the next one.